This is Andy Purewal for ID Boxing. We are here in Liverpool and I'm joined by promoter Ben Shalom. Ben, firstly, how are you?
Really happy to get going. It feels like a new season. Obviously come back from Albania, Bournemouth, nice couple of summer shows, but ready for this. Obviously first 12 months, getting to stable together and everything like that. Now we feel like we hit the ground running. Massive few weeks for us, starting in Liverpool.
A busy few weeks indeed, and let's come on to tonight. Just one question to start, Ben. There were some rumours going on social media that the Mwakinyo-Smith fight might not be happening. Have you seen them? Can you just enlighten people?
He is an erratic character, that Mwakinyo. In the ring, outside the ring, he's a character. He boxes orthodox southpaw, wants to fight one day, doesn't want to fight another. He did miss his flight. He's on his way here. He's already in Heathrow, I think. The fight's on, thank God. Obviously, it's a tough fight for anyone. I think anyone that's watched him fight, we know he's not on the level of Liam Smith, but he's got power, he's dangerous, and I think it's part of it. He is a crazy guy, and at one point he wasn't getting on the plane, but he is now.
Hopefully when he does arrive in time for Saturday, on that note it seems like he will be. But how dangerous or difficult of a test will this be for Liam? He'll be a heavy favourite. People expect him to look good, but people will know Mwakinyo from the Sam Eggington win a few years ago now.
He is a heavy favourite, and he wanted the Eubank fight. We made no, qualms about that. That's the fight he wanted. Obviously, Chris has got an easier option, he'll feel, for good money, and so he's taken that. And so we wanted to get Liam out straight away. We wanted to come to Liverpool. We were always going to do a big show in Liverpool, start of September. Managed to get him to headline. It's obviously back on Sky, needs that big audience, and then he's into big fights, either the Eubank fight or world title fight. He wants to go straight in, but I think we needed this. It's his first fight for us. It's a massive card with Tasha Jonas in her unification and Dan Aziz in the British title and Fraser and Adam Azim. Perfect place to start for Liam, excited to get going.
I'm interested to know, Ben, back when Callum Smith was a world champion, there was talk of potentially one day holding a fight here at Anfield where we are now. Obviously you have Liam Smith. Is there any fight which you believe could be big enough to hold here? Not necessarily even if it was to sell out, but say if you could do 20, 30k and you feel it would be worthwhile putting on here at Anfield?
I think it's a dream of all the Smith brothers, to be honest. Ever since they started, they're obviously massive fans of Liverpool, big part of the club. That's part of the reason we're here today. Liverpool Football Club want to get behind boxing. They want boxing in the city. It's been a tough time for Liverpool in general and Manchester, and the violence and everything that's been going on. Everyone's come together, and Anfield's always been the dream. We want to do that. Adam Smith's a massive Liverpool fan. Adam Azim wants to fight here one day. Liam Smith, obviously, he looks the most likely, and so let's get this one out of the way, and there's some obvious big fights there for him. And Anfield want shows now. I think they only opened up to different events recently. They had the Rolling Stones here last year. It's a massive arena. It's an unbelievable place to watch football. I think it'll be incredible for boxing as well, and we'll see what happens.
What are you hoping to see from Liam on Saturday night in his first fight under the boxer banner?
I just want the same. I mean, since the Kurbanov fight, he's just got better and better and better. He won out in Russia. I think we all sort of know that. He then showed he was levels above in terms of in the Fowler fight and the Vargas fight. He is a top-level fighter, and I just want more of the same. I think, as I say, we wanted a big performance on Sky first. We expect a big audience on Saturday. It's a Liverpool derby here as well, so it's going to be a massive crowd. Wanted to get him back, wanted to get him rolling, and then he's ready for the big fights, and more of the same. I hope he doesn't underestimate Hassan. I'm sure he won't, just because he is unpredictable. He can punch. He's going to have to watch it, but Liam's a classy operator. One of my favourite fighters to watch as a boxing fan, and I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned the Eubank Junior fight earlier on. For Liam, what do you think will be likely next, moving or edging ever closer towards a world title at 154 or a big domestic dust-up, whether it be with Eubank Junior or somebody else?
I think it could go either way. Obviously, he wants to fight for a world title. They might be tied up at 154. He's happy to box at 160. He's happy to box at middleweight. That's why he wanted the Eubank fight. There's massive fights at middleweight. There's massive fights at super welterweight. We'll see. We'll assess the best options. He just wants to be in the biggest fights possible. The Eubank fight could happen, maybe. But world titles are his ambition as well, and he's been world champion once. He wants to do it again, and whether that's 154, whether that's 160, there's a couple of other names that we're discussing at the moment that I don't want to say, just so that we don't jinx it. Big night on Saturday night, come through that, and then he's got massive fights ahead of him.
Away from the main event, get your thoughts on some other fights. Tasha Jonas looking to become a unified world champion. Talk about her bout.
Crazy to be sat here talking about unifications at 154. It was crazy for her to go up 3 weight divisions. She needed to do it. For me, I said up there, most unlucky fighter throughout her career in terms of things not falling for her. The Terri Harper decision, always having Katie Taylor there, whether it was at the 2012 Olympics or you losing on points to her. She's never been prioritised, never got that world title shot. She got it in February. We were criticised a lot. And I'm sure if she'd been hurt or something had happened, it wouldn't have looked good for us. She went out there, she knocked her out in 3 rounds. She felt comfortable at the weight. She wanted to fight Hannah Rankin next. Hannah's obviously not wanted that fight. And the opportunity came because Brackhouse was supposed to fight Berghult. The opportunity came, that fell through. I said to Tasha, we've got a chance to unify here, we go for the WBC. Patricia's a very, very good operator as well. And she's a genuine world champion, unbeaten. It's a 50-50 fight. And credit to Tasha for taking it, because she always does. And it's not at her natural weight. But she's done everything she can, and it's going to be a massive, massive night for Liverpool. She's a massive figure here. She walks around the street here. She's a real icon in this city. She does a lot for the city. She does a lot locally. Anyone that knows her, she's one of the nicest people you could ever meet. She got a massive fight on Saturday, and then we'll see what comes after that.
Terri Harper and Hannah Rankin are fighting each other on September 24th. If Terri was to win, do you think we could see a rematch between Natasha and Terri in a unification at 154?
Maybe.
How easy or difficult would it be to make that, obviously because of a promotional stand?
I don't know. I mean, we're pretty open to it. Next week we've got Shields Marshall and Maya Baumgardner being a matchroom fighter. So it can happen. When there's a big fight there, it will happen. Whether that's something Tasha wants to do, I think she wants to unify here. I know she wants to take some big fights back at 140 and maybe 147. So I think that's her ambition. But we'll see. Look, we can't look beyond Saturday, because this is a... If she hadn't had that win in February, people would say absolutely crazy for taking on this fight. She's had that win. She showed how good she was, how good she looked, and now it's a big fight on Saturday, and we'll see what happens after that.
Moving forwards once again, Azzez-Pitters and Pitters, potentially the fight of the night. What are you expecting from it, Ben?
Yeah, crazy fight. I think the height difference is mental. We saw Aziz cope well against Hosea Burton with that height difference and did really, really well. Love watching Dan fight as well. I think he's very, very popular now. His style, his fan-friendly style, he's a throwback fighter. He's very gritty. His personality as well. He lives for it. He's so hungry, and he could have relinquished the British and go up to international titles. Now I think he's ready for that. But he wanted to have a defence of the British, and Shakan's not an easy fight. A really, really tough fight. I know him well. Obviously, come through the tournament as well, but it's a big fight for both of them. It's a cross. Like, they both have to win that fight. And it's exciting, massive fight on the card as well. And to top with Fraser Clark and Azim coming back, it's a card that has everything. A lot of local lads on the stream, and the undercard we expect a busy arena, unbelievable atmosphere on Saturday. And that fight is the one I think people are looking at and looking forward to.
Just on Azim, Ben, what's going to be the plan with him moving forwards? Obviously, there's a lot of excitement around him. What next beyond Saturday? Do you think we'll see him in there with somebody who's maybe more well known on the British circuit, like a Ryland Charlton, which was spoken about previously?
Maybe. I think the thing with Adam, we've got so much time, and people say, well, why aren't you throwing him with this person, throwing it with that person? He'll fight anyone. I think we did make an offer to Ryland Charlton. The difficulty with Adam is finding opponents that want to come, that know that 90% likely could get knocked out. We've seen it, and his opponent pulled out a day or two ago for this fight. We found another one who hasn't been stopped before. It's not the ideal opponent for us. We just want him out regularly, want him to learn his craft. But yeah, Shane and Barry and the McGuigans, they want to move him quickly. They know his talent. We'll see him in some British fights very soon. But the difficulty is, as I say, is most fighters know now how good Adam is. He's been in the gyms, he's sparring middleweights. It's hard, especially the British guys. They see it on the circuit, and we'll see what's next for him, but it's very, very exciting. Just needs to keep his feet on the ground, because I think there's such high expectations for him, and rightly so.
Just moving forwards and onto a couple of other topics. Now, I know you guys aren't kind of broadcasters and the host for the show, but Joyce-Parker is only a few weeks away as well. On the same night, we see Wood-Lara return against Lee Wood. Just want to get your thoughts on kind of show clashes, and I imagine it won't be the first time, or the last time rather, this happens, especially for yourselves.
Yeah, it's one of the most difficult things now as well about being a promoter, in the sense like you've got to stick to your dates and you've got to try and work out what's going on, because you don't want to... we're trying to give as much value as we can outside of pay-per-view. I think we're doing the most shows outside of pay-per-view. I think we're giving the most value. We've got this week. We've got Shields Marshall next week. And I think it's part of the reason why we made that Parker Joyce fight is we've got to avoid clashes, and it's going to happen. And I think, look, Parker Joyce is a massive fight. It's a casual fight. It's a heavyweight division. I expected to do pretty well. But yeah, clashes are inevitable. We all have to deliver for our broadcasters. We all have to do a certain amount of shows. It's going to happen. We try where we can not to. At the same time, the platform comes first. Whenever it's on Sky, we're confident on any night, to be honest.
Ben, if Joyce-Parker wasn't to come through successfully, how damaging is that to his career, and obviously for you guys as his promoter then to try and rebuild him, because the fight doesn't take place on Sky Sports, it's not promoted by Boxer, it comes back with a defeat. What would be the plan with him? How damaging could a defeat be?
To be honest, I think there's more at stake for Joe Joyce than Joyce-Parker. Joyce-Parker's still 30 years old. He's a young heavyweight. He needed a change. I think we all could see that. He came away from the environment he was in. He's come to train in the UK. He's been improving all the time. We see him as a young heavyweight. I know he's a former world champion, but he's a young heavyweight. We wouldn't be taking this fight if we weren't extremely confident that this was the right fight for him. And this was the route for him to world titles. And it's an interim world title now. I think, yeah, there's more at stake perhaps for Joe Joyce. He's 36 years old, maybe 37, 36 definitely. It's make or break for Joe Joyce, in my opinion. For Joyce-Parker, he'll come again, but we're confident with this fight and we're not looking beyond it.
Just one final one I want to end on. We spoke about Anthony Joshua's lost to Oleksandr Usyk back in Albania. I just want to get your thoughts on what you'd like to see next from him, though. I saw Eddie Hearn say he'd like him to box in December and then 3 more times beyond that next year, so 4 times in 12 months. Would you say that would be the correct way to manoeuvre his career? Do you feel like he needs a break, like some people have suggested?
I don't know. I think there's been a lot of criticism of AJ. I was saying before, what was good to see is that he cares. Like, he's made that much money. He's been so successful. He's reached the pinnacle of the sport. 2-time world champion, fought at Wembley, fought everywhere. And he cared. He actually really cared about the belts and he cared about what happened. And so that's one thing. I think all fighters sometimes need a break. I wouldn't want to see him rushed in when he's not ready. He clearly was a lot of pressure on that fight. He's clearly been working towards that fight for a long time, and it meant a lot, that defeat. That's one thing I would say is just why when look, he's a winner, he wants to get back in the ring, I get all that, but he doesn't need to necessarily rush. I think he should take it at his own pace. I think he should make sure he's ready mentally, physically, and get back in it. And he's fought elite guys all the way through, and his past few fights have always been elite level. Does he really want to drop down a level? I don't know.
Right, Ben, we'll leave that there now. Leave you to enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your time here in Liverpool. Thanks for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.